All right, guys, we'll go ahead and get started. Got a few new people in here, so I'll just continue to go over or re-emphasize the rules of engagement. So please stay unmuted so we don't hear the football game in the back, Kenny. But and anytime you want to speak or add anything, you're more than welcome to unmute yourself. And then when you're done talking, just put yourself back on mute because background noise can kind of damage the meeting. And then if you want to facilitate in the chat and use that, you're more than welcome to. You can put questions in there. I'll check those, and some other referees on here will do the same. Sorry for short notice, totally forgot to get the link out, so I appreciate you guys jumping on. I know I figured the numbers would be a little smaller, but that's okay. I like small groups because then we can have a little more engagement and people are a little more willing to talk. So definitely encourage that. I think we've got 13 to 15 on, so I really encourage you guys to talk, ask questions, or if you want to add any information that can help us. That's what it's all about. Not who it comes from, but the information that we get out. The subject today was traveling, and I'll get into that in a little bit why I decided to use that. But I did want to go over the two quizzes, and there'll be a new one coming out tomorrow. On the quiz 2, people did change it because I had to do 2 different deals. Jot Form was the one that we were using, and then we exceeded our submission, so now I've gone to Google Forms. So some folks that did quiz 2 on Jot Form were able then to jump back on Google Forms, and it seems like a lot of referees decided to then get in your rule book. I'm fine if you guys want to take the test, just flat out just take it without your rule book next to you, because that kind of gives you a good understanding of where you're at. But I would probably want to keep it close to me, or if you want to take it again, that's fine, because we're kind of missing a lot of questions. So I'm going to go over them real quick. If you have any questions on them, you're more than welcome to. Hopefully you guys can see my screen. The most confusing one, I guess it was kind of a got you question, and I didn't mean to do it like that, but it just comes under definitions. So this one was: an airborne shooter is in player control. So the answer is false, because they're not in player control, because if you go to airborne shooter, the definition of that is that the ball has to be released. So it was kind of a got you one. Are they still in player control? I mean, you can have a player control foul on an airborne shooter, right? If they haven't come down to the floor and they kick out, you could have a player control. So I understand why a lot of people got that wrong. But if you just jump right to the definitions, you would have put false, because an airborne shooter, the ball has to be released, so they do not literally have control with the basketball in their hand. Not too fussed about that one, but that was what most people did get wrong. The next one was: the AP arrow must be located on the scoreboard. That is false. It has to be located on the table, not on the scoreboard. It sure is nice to have it up there on the scoreboard, but that is not by rule. It doesn't have to be there. Let's get into number 3. On a jump ball to start the game, A1 intentionally fouls B1. B1 will receive 2 shots on the ball at the spot of the foul. The AP arrow will start when the ball is placed at the disposal of the B1 free throw. That is false. Everything pretty much is true, except for the point when you really got to read through it slowly. The AP arrow will start when the ball is placed at the disposal. That is incorrect. It's going to be after the free throws. So that was a small little snippet in there that if you didn't read the whole question, you would have got that one wrong. The next one is: the ball is considered to be disposed on inbound when the ball is bounced to them. And I had some referees call me on this. It's not a got you one, but we just need to understand definitions. It's not at their disposal when it's bounced, because they don't have the ball in their hand. If it's handed to them, or they actually obviously have control. So when it's bounced, that would be false. It's not at their disposal. And then the last one, most of you got this one right. Bench player A1 curses at the trail referee. The official rules a technical foul. This is also an indirect foul, and the head coach is correct because it's bench personnel. So this is A7 who's on the bench. It would be considered a bench personnel technical, which would be indirect foul to the head coach. So those are all the answers there. I did send them out, but just wanted to go over them. And again, if you have any questions on them, feel free to write them in the chat. Quiz 2, like I said earlier, these responses are going to look a lot better. There was 79 on here, and there was about 56 before it got locked out, based on that we can only do X amount of submissions per month. But I'll go into these ones. Basket interference occurs anytime a live ball is on or within the basket or in the cylinder. It's true. That is word for word out of the rule book. If you go to basket interference, you read it, boom, it's true. So I'm a little concerned that 19 folks got that one wrong. Again, you got to get in your rule book. Continuous motion, which we're going to touch on a little bit tonight, can occur on a try, tap, or free throw. So there's some parts in continuous motion we'll dive into, but the people that got it wrong, the 19 that contacted me, said, how can you have continuous motion on a free throw? They're thinking like an and one, right? That you get fouled and then you continuous motion and then you're able to finish your habitual shooting motion, natural shooting motion. Well, we're talking about on a continuous motion would be if there's a shot on a free throw and we have a foul on the lane lines, that falls under on continuous motion. Again, if you go to the definition that has it there, it has it on free throws, and it talks about those type things on taps, try. It talks about when a player has a ball and those type things. Number 3, A1 has a throw in, B1 reaches across the plane and holds A1. This is intentional technical. Now, this was nothing close to it. We were about 50-50. Actually, I think it was a little more that we were going technical, but again, a lot of people were able to take the test again and got in the rubric, which is good. It's an intentional foul is the correct answer. Easiest way to think about this is if there's contact to a player, it's intentional. Contact to the basketball is technical, and there's no contact then, and they cross the boundary line, we got delay a game. So those are 3 things that we have. Easiest way for me to think about it, if they touch the player, we're going intentional. If they hit the basketball, we're going technical. So that was that one. This one, it's funny. This was the other way around when we first took it. I wouldn't say everybody, but it was probably like 61 saying true and 18 saying false. A lot of them said there's technical foul. If you go to the rule book on there, it's not a technical foul. They're just not legally equipped. They're not allowed to play. Now, if they continue to give you stuff about it and won't leave, then you could have an unsportsmanlike technical foul. But for jewelry, no, go to the rule book. There's nothing that states that wearing jewelry is a technical foul. And of course, we want to be preventive and try to check that early during warm-up so that doesn't happen. But if a player does come on with an earring or any kind of jewelry or necklace, we're just going to ask them to either take it off immediately, right away. They can take it off, throw it to the bench, or we just get a new sub for them. And then the last one, a hair control device must be black, white, beige, or predominant color. Again, you get in the rule book, a hair control device is nothing like a headband or any of those type things. So it doesn't have to match the requirements that we usually would for sleeves and tights and all that. That's not it, okay? Now, me and Kenny did talk about a hair control device. We're talking about pre-wrap. So Kenny believed that pre-wrap was a hair control device because it's keeping the hair up. That's false. If you go read the rule, that's going to go under a headband because it's a circular equipment or device, whatever. If it's the ones like if you get the headband that you take around and then you tie it at the back and tuck it in, that's also illegal because once you take it off, it's supposed to be circular. Well, that's obviously not circular. The way you make it circular is you have to tie it to the back of your head and tuck them under. Again, I don't want to be the fashion police. That's not something that we want to do. But if you get in your rule book and we're highly consistent throughout the year, we shouldn't fall into any problems. Okay. So that was that. Any questions on the quizzes? I haven't got anything in the chat, so that's a good deal. Okay, no questions for me. All right, so quiz 3 is coming out tomorrow, and I will probably try to add one got you question in there. Why not? It makes it a little more interesting for you. But definitely dive into your rule book if you have it. Hopefully you're taking them with your rule book. Or, like I said, take it without the rule book one time. You don't put your name on here, and then you can see what you get, gives you, and then come back later and get in the rule book. Okay. Let me do this real quick. We're going to get into this in a little bit. All right, so the first thing I wanted to do, we're going to get into traveling, but I wanted to show this one first because I did put this on. Hold on real quick. Sorry. Let me try this again. Apologies. Okay, there we go. Okay, so I put this on my social media account, actually my Instagram, and we got a lot of, I put it this morning and got a lot of different comments on it. So I said, you know, let me throw it out there tonight. So I'm just going to open this up. All right. I hope it doesn't lag too much. I'll show it twice, full game speed, and I'll do it slow-mo. Basically, we have a 3-point shot from the top of the 3-point line by number 11. We have a 3-point shot. And then we have a rebound foul from our lead with these 2 kids right here on the bottom. And I don't want to talk about positioning because we know that our trail is nowhere to be seen, right? Trail should be 28-foot line now. I believe when a 3-point shot comes up, they barely sneak in. So let's not get into that. We know trail needs to be 28-foot line to referee this play. Anytime you can't see all 3 referees in a clip, that's typically an issue. Especially from this high up, we should always have all 3 referees in a half-court setting in the picture. This isn't a transition play. But let's get into this. Anybody can take it. But I want to get into the foul, the movement from lead, the call, and then the signals, the communication piece, what lead is giving us. And then we'll walk through it, and then we got to make sure ways that we can get better on this. Okay. If it lags, don't worry. I'm going to show it again. We'll get back to we'll get back into the point of contact and all that stuff. So here we go. Shot from the 3-point line. Next one will be slow-mo. Shot goes up. Rebound foul. 2 kids here. Okay. Here goes slow-mo. So here. Just focus here. All right. So here's the rebound foul. And then, that's what we have here. We have a foul. Rebound foul here. Okay, so are we waving a basket or we have a double foul? This is the confusion. And then again, mechanics and signaling is everything. So this is our, a nonverbal thing here. What are we doing? Okay. Anybody want to take it? Anybody new too? Anyone new? No wrong answers. Just see what you tell us what you see, what you would do, what we could do different, things we did good, things we did bad. And then we'll get into kind of the teeth of the teaching points.
Nobody want to speak up?
Hey, Mark, it's Joe.
Hey, Joe. Thanks, man. What you got?
Well, from what it looks like, he has a foul, but is waving off the basket.
Okay.
But to me, he should have the foul and then look to his partners to verify if the basket went in. But I think the basket is good.
Okay.
That's what I'm thinking.
Thanks, Joe. Okay, so Joe has that the lead referee is wiping a basket and shouldn't wipe it, should just have his preliminary signal, have his foul, and then communicate with the outside officials. Okay. Anyone got anything different? Thanks, Joe.
Hey, Mark, it looks to me like he might be trying to do a double foul mechanic, but he's pointing at the 2 players where he's in the double foul. It's hard to tell for sure, but I'm not sure he's wiping the basket. I think he might be doing double foul and pointing at the players. But again, that's poor mechanic either way.
Okay, so there's a second piece, right? So Joe has wiping the basket and Brad has a double foul. This is exactly the same conversation we had today all day long. Is some people look at it again, and just imagine you're the other 2 referees in this game, right? We're watching this. Okay, what does my lead referee have? What do they have? Do they have a double foul, or are they wiping the basket? And there's a lot of miscommunication on it, right? Anyone else? Anything different or add to it?
I don't think he's waving the basket off. I don't think he knows that the basket went in or not, which he probably would need some help from his officials on that.
Okay.
Well, different. I think he's waving the basket off when he shouldn't be. The shot's away before there's any foul committed, so the basket should count. Now, double foul or not, it's hard to tell if that's what he's indicating. But he's pointing at 2 players like he might be calling a double foul.
Okay.
Well, and that's the issue. You can argue either way. I mean, you just don't know. That's the issue.
Yep. See,
he's locked in on the contact.
Yeah.
And I don't think he even notices at all that the basket went in or not. He's focused on that contact where both players are interacted with, and he comes out probably with that double foul, but I don't think he's waving the basket off.
So what would you be doing with your arms?
That's what I was making a comment that I don't know. I think he's
waving
just
the basket off.
Moment.
No, it's got to be a wave.
So he saw the basket go in?
He's waving that basket off.
He's waving it off.
Why would we be using double arm swinging if he wasn't waving the
Right.
basket off.
I think on the swinging part, I would say that he's doing it. He's not taking his time making the signal. He's kind of trying to be emphatic to show the double foul. So that's why it looks like he's waving the basket off. That's what I would see. That's what I would interpret that as.
Thanks, Mike. I agree.
Well, Soup and Mike, I disagree.
What you got, Morgan?
Marvin, look at his fists though. Look at the arms on his hands. They're not flat if you're waving a basket off. He's got fists.
He doesn't even look to see that the basket went in.
I agree that I agree that you're seeing he's calling a double foul, but he's waving the basket off.
Yeah,
What
that's
else
it
could
looks
that
like,
be?
Danny. I agree because I think it's because he's coming out too fast and not taking his time.
I think he's doing a combo platter, double foul wave.
He could be doing it. He goes up with his fist with a foul, and then he comes down. Now he that first move may have been indicated double foul, but as he continues, it surely looks like he's waving the basket off.
Totally
Mark, back it
agree.
up. Mark, back it up again. He's not waving the basket off. He's waving off the shot. If he's waving off anything.
Doesn't even look at the basket.
Exactly. So he's saying that the double foul that he's going to call happened before the shot, because a couple of folks said he can't wave the basket off. But did he wave off the shot? Because he didn't look up at the basket.
Is he
It's
out
not
of
his
his?
responsibility to wipe off the.
It's
Yeah,
not
Tim.
I get it, but
I
he
get
didn't
it.
look up at the basket.
Is he out of his?
You don't have to look at a basket to know that it went in. You use your
Yeah.
peripheral.
Yeah, okay, he didn't see that either.
What is the C doing in this situation? And he hasn't done any look at the C, and he shouldn't have been looking above the 3-point arc, top of the key, because he's a lead official. So he has to go to the C, or the C has to come in there and at least say, hey, was your whistle before? Was the shot off? If the shot was off, we got this. If the shot wasn't off, here's what we're going to do. There's no communication between those two guys down there. He's taking it all on himself to wipe it off because he saw it looking out of his area, and at the same time he had a foul underneath, which could be a double. He gives a wrong signal and he's rushing. And we've all during our sessions this summer, we've said, take your time when the whistle has blown. Make sure of it.
Did anybody indicate that 3-point shot?
Yeah, we have a 3 from Trail, but Trail's not in the picture.
Oh, okay.
Trail spots it. Okay. All right. So good discussion. Let's get into it. Okay. I know what happened because I was able to have the next clip. All right. So it's a double foul. That's what they have. The lead referee has a double foul on this. They end up not scoring the basket. But as you can see, the confusion is half people think it's a double foul. Another half possibly think he's wiping the basket. And then some of us have combos. Because there's the emphatic 4 of them, right? We assume that they're wiping off the basket. That's what it looks like. The crew never comes together to talk about it, all right? So to Bill's point, I agree. Anytime we have a foul, we need to have a foul. We need to slow down. That's number 1, right? We can see that our lead, the anxiety is very high. We want to come out and then have 4 signals if it's a double foul or wiping the basket, whatever. Okay, so with 1, we need to slow down, stay with the foul, and then you can come out with your double foul 1 time. That was all we need, right? Boom, and then you can verbalize. I have a double foul, and he does point. Okay, problem is that the lead referee starts coming and already closing and going to the table, so we're in a rush, right? There's some confusion, obviously. So I agree to Bill's point is the other 2 referees, we have to slow this official down. Definitely have to slow him down because there's a confusion. I think we could all understand if we're not the calling referee, we have absolutely no idea what our lead referees has based on everybody's responses. You just look at this film, you're like, I have no idea. Are we wiping the basket? Do we have a double foul? What is it, right? So we definitely, this is a time where we need to slow down the lead referee, possibly have to I won't say necessarily get kids to benches, but we need to clear them. And then we need to have a conversation, because the conversation is going to come in that the lead has a double foul. All right. So we have a double foul. We have to understand the status of the basketball in this situation. We have a double foul. So we're going point interruption, correct? When we have anything double, we go POI. Now, then we're going to discuss, was the ball in flight or was it not in flight? Because if 11 hasn't shot the ball yet and it's still in their hand, the point interruption would be that White's going to get the ball back at the spot of the foul, which is in the paint. It will be White ball on the baseline. If the ball is in flight, we have no team control. We got to go to the AP arrow. What they end up doing is wiping the basket, double foul, and they give the ball, I believe, to White on the baseline. That's how they end up doing it, and end up getting it absolutely wrong. Outside referees have to understand the status of the ball, and so does the calling referee has to understand the status of the ball. So I believe, my personal opinion is, when you have this rebound foul, a double foul, whatever that you may have, yes, you have a foul. But if we just take a second to slow down, then we can find the status of the basketball. But it looks like that he's wiping the ball. I agree with everyone that said that he doesn't even know if the ball went in, because he's locked in his primary. He does a good job of not following the flight of the ball, not knowing. And again, he can see out of his periphery if the ball went in. But the lead referee has no understanding of the status of the basketball. We need to understand the status of the ball when we blow our whistle. So I think if the lead would have waited a second, understand, okay, I've got a double foul here, wait, then understand the status of the ball. His whistle goes off. He knows the ball's in flight. So what should have happened, right? We got double foul, no team control. We score the basket based on that the ball is in flight. It's out of the hand of the shooter. So we should score the basket. And then we still have to go to the AP arrow because there's no team control, which would be score the basket and give the ball to whoever has the next possession arrow. Spot of the foul on the baseline is where it would go. Anybody want to add to it?
Are you sure about that? We go AP arrow, because following a made basket, it would.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, I'm sorry. You're absolutely right. Thanks, Brad. Absolutely. Point interruption. Thank you. Ball goes in, right? Then we're going to go to black. Thank you. Anyone else?
Mark, just Ron. I
Hey,
think because he comes out so emphatic with that call, the C may be thinking that he has more information because obviously the ball's in flight when it happened. But he may be thinking that he just got his arm up late on the foul, and the foul occurred before the ball was in flight. And since he's doing that wiping motion, he probably just let him roll with it and wipe the basket because he was emphatic kind of with that wiping motion. So maybe the C thought, well, maybe the foul occurred and he just, you didn't call it in time. And so he's going to wipe the basket.
Okay. And a good point, Ron. Here's what I add to this, right? See, when the shot goes up, we know that's not center's primary, right? Again, we talked about, we wish trails 28-foot line, they're going to take the shooter up and down. Our center their eyes should go where? Right to rebound coverage. So if center's eyes goes to rebound coverage, we know right away there's no foul. The ball is already gone. So we would have information, especially on this first hook right here, that lead is closed on this. Okay. So they missed the first one, possibly here, like the hook, right? There's the first foul. And then here comes 44 and then kind of swims and throws him to the floor. I'm good with a double foul. I'm not going to get too much into judgment, but to your point, Ron, I agree, but center should have some information because we shouldn't be even on this shooter. There's nothing competitive up here. We need to get our eyes. We need to turn to rebound coverage. We need to help. If center would have done that, they would have all the information knowing that there's no way that foul happened prior to that ball being released.
Yeah, I agree with that. Definitely he should have brought the information to him. But I think what I'm saying is maybe since he was so emphatic with the wiping motion, that C thought that maybe he had more information than he had. And that isn't C's shooter, right? But it looks like he's got at least a shot in view since the trail isn't there. So, but I guess I'm just, just with how emphatic he was with the wiping motion, you know, maybe the C thought, well, he had a foul before the shot was released. But yeah, I agree. They should all get together and talk.
Yeah, so my only comment to that, to what Ronnie's saying, is I don't care how good the guy is. I don't care what's his status in the chapter. We all have the possibility of getting things wrong, right? So I think sometimes when we're looking at this film, we're trying to make excuses, or it sounds to me like we're making excuses for poor communication. Let's just call it poor communication. And we, as outside guys, we have to. I'm coming running. If I'm in that sea or that trail, when I see him wipe, and I know it's good, I'm coming to run to him and say, "Hey, are you wiping the basket? Because I thought that ball got off in time." Then we could have that conversation, right? So
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
you know.
I 100% agree with that. But you know, he wipes and then he reports, so he doesn't look for information. So,
Yeah, because no one's coming. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'm coming.
Yeah.
I'm not even letting you get to the table from the league.
Yeah, but you know, as a C and trail, I would be frozen. Like, what is he doing? He's pointing at two players. I think the breakdown
That's
all
fair.
comes with the mechanics. I mean, the mechanics, you know, are no one in that gym play knew what's going on, including the two players. So, you know, as a C or trail, if he's wiping emphatically like that, or, you know, double fist out and then pointing at players and then reporting, I don't know what kind of a window we have to give them information. And after it's reported, it would look bad, I guess, if we went. But I guess we could go back and tell them, no, the basket should be good. But I agree 100%. I guess what I'm saying is that just because the poor mechanics, that breakdown started there, and it's kind of going to be tough for the whole crew to fix that.
Brad, I'm glad you said that, Ron. So you bring up a good point. You said, and I think this would happen a lot. I truly do. And this is something we've got to change. We have to change it. You're an outside referee and you have no idea what your other co-official is calling, then you can't allow them to continue. You have to, so whoever it is, whatever, hey, Ron, stop. Hold on real quick. Hold on. Don't even allow them to get to a report, right? I think that's the point, is there's a massive miscommunication on this. And we just allow that referee. I don't care how emphatic they are and how believable they look, right? Because like to your point, Ron, they look like they know exactly. They must have seen something we didn't. Okay, but I have no idea what you have. And I think we've had that a lot in games where we allow referees to go do what they do, and then we're like, okay, well, what are we doing? And we just kind of stand around waiting to, like, okay, are we shooting? Are we not shooting? Where are we bringing the ball? We have to continue. We cannot continue to allow that to happen. At any point you're in a game and you're confused, what would it hurt to stop that referee before they get to the table? Hey, Ron, stop real quick. Just stop. Hold on. That's actually going to help, right? And coaches always say it. They like for us to communicate. Like, if we come together on this play, the three of us would come together and talk about it, and then we come out with a ruling. Coaches are going to prefer that than we just allow that referee to do whatever they want. And the coach is like, yo, what does he have, Mark? I don't know. Hold on real quick. All right. And then they just end up, guess what happens in this play? They get it wrong. We're kicking a rule. We are getting this wrong. So I appreciate you saying that, Ron, because I believe a lot of referees would allow this to happen based on what you said. They look credible, they look believable, they know what they got, but we don't as a crew. And it's an awkward feeling when your referee has a play and you have no idea what they have. And we've all been a part of it. I think that's something we've got to get away from. We need to be better communicators, and we need to be better partners in stopping that referee before, like you said, what's the window? There's a window. There is a time to get them to stop before they report. Anyone else?
Yeah, Mark, we've talked about this during all our discussions since we started this back in the summer. We talked about a culture change, and I think that's where we need to get to. I mean, because what Kenny said is correct. I mean, we do get in games when we're with a more experienced official or more credibility and stuff, and those that don't have the credibility may, just like you said, sit back and let the guy do what he's doing because of his credibility. And and again, we'll go back to that culture change that we're trying to make.
Yep.
Well, I believe, credibility or not, if you don't know what's going on and you're not sure, someone needs to ask the question. I believe if that C was Ron Van Landingham and he didn't know what's going on, he would have stepped in and say, what you got? What are we doing? I believe that.
Yeah,
And that's what
I
we should be doing.
agree too, Marvin. I agree. But I guess what I'm saying is, what if I'm the 50% who thought that that was clearly a double foul call and nothing related to the wiping of the basket? And there's a hard wiping motion, and then there's a direct walk to the table. If I think that that's a double foul because he pointed at both players, I'm gonna say, okay, he had a double foul. Now he gets to the table and he wipes the basket. Well, I had no idea he was going to do that. So I guess I'm playing devil's advocate because that play was so emphatic and everything happened so fast. And as soon as Mark showed it, I said, well, yeah, he's got a double foul. He pointed to two players. The mechanics were horrible, but sitting over that C or trail, I'm going to say, okay, he's got a double foul. He's going to report that. Now, if he goes and wipes the basket, but I guess I'm saying my opportunity to say, hey, what are we doing? What are we doing? If I saw that motion, and I'm pretty sure it's a double foul, it seemed to me, just looking at the video, that's a double foul, even though he did the wiping motion. But when he points to two players, so I guess back to what I was telling Mark, it's the window. What kind of window do you have to kind of slow him down? Because he was calling and walking to reporting. I don't know how long it took him to start reporting after that, but so yeah, I agree with all of you guys. So definitely, if there's something we don't understand, we gotta look at it. But I don't know why he wiped the basket. I mean, especially at lead, he shouldn't have even be looking at that. So.
Hey, Ron.
Well, people said. I mean, I think Mark said that we should remember, even at the lead, we should find the status of the ball. Even when we're going to make that call, we got to get a little wider and find the status of the ball, right? And so I wanted to just take one more second to say, so there is no, even if he reported, I'm still going to, and so I'm going to assume a coach is going to say, Kenny, that was a good shot. And I'm going to say, let me go ask my partner what he has, because you're right, he confused everybody. So I'm going to go. It's still not too late to fix that.
Yeah,
I don't think there's a point that it's too late.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, Mark, if I can, real quick.
Go ahead.
Kenny, I think you're absolutely right. I think as the lead, you're going to come out and you may ask the trail official, because he's the closest official before you get to the table. He probably had the biggest view. But Ron, to your point about the window closes when you put the ball in play. Until the ball gets put in play, your window is still wide open. Even if you reported it, as a crew, you may have to eat it. You want to get it right. So when you talk about the window, if you watch him go over and you're still not sure, and this is for everybody, the window is not closed till you put the ball in play. So the window is it's open for a long time because you want to get the play right. So if you're unsure, couple toots of the whistle, run over and say, hey, what are we doing? Because you want to be in the right position. You want to know what the rotation is. You know what's going on, who's getting the ball. So if you're unsure, the window's open until you put the ball in play.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, and if I saw that they're wiping the basket and I had knowledge that it was released, I'd definitely go over there and at least give him my information.
There you go.
To maybe reverse that. So that's what I'd do. So I agree with all you guys. And those things happen so fast, especially, we talk about slowing people down after a technical foul. It's because when that adrenaline goes up on a double foul, he's walking and talking and pointing, and you're right. Everybody's probably thinking, what the heck just went on? But, if I saw it from the C or the trail, I'd say when he pointed to two players, he's got a double foul. But you're right. If you reported no basket, then that's when the partners can get with them and get it correct.
Yeah, Ron,
Hey,
you answered.
Mark.
I was going to say something. You already
Hey,
answered.
Mark.
Hold on real quick. So Bill, you're up, and then I got you after.
Yeah, I certainly agree, Mark, with everything you said, that emphasis doesn't make the call right. And that is a perfect example of when we tell guys to watch the NBA, watch the colleges, and they mimic the style of bad mechanics and overemphasis, which we see many a time in those games. The signals are a silent explanation of what's going on. The whistle has stopped and everybody's looking at it. A professional second toot on that whistle by that C or by the lead who hadn't gotten in the picture yet. If, you know, particularly the C, I and the lead, they have got the ball, okay? Do you need me? The ball was released and I heard your whistle. That's all we have to do. Stop the second time with a whistle, a polite professional whistle to your partner. Well, go meet, have your quick discussion, and then go through. But not running to the table in earnest. The foul doesn't make any more importance because you ran to the table. Okay? And the fact that it was a double foul, did he leave the scene of the crime too quick?
Mm-hmm.
Because the C wasn't moving and we still hadn't seen the T in the picture. So there's some other things, and we probably could belabor this all night, but you know, if I have a call like that and I'm the C and I'm hyped and I make a call like that and you blow the whistle because you want to know what's going on, you're not going to embarrass me by going a loud whistle. You're going to give me a tweet. I'm going to stop and listen, look at you, and we're going to get it right. It's, you know, it happens a lot, but we just have to, again, chill and take it as it happens.
Thanks, Bill. Michael, go ahead, and then PJ next.
Yeah, Mark, I just want to know, as far as the order of operation, when this foul happens, if I am at lead and I make the double foul signal and I'm moving already, is it a recommendation? I feel like you got to talk to the C or trail on your, like you got to, I feel like you have to talk to somebody, but how would you go about that movement? Not saying that you waited, or I know I appreciate everybody's points on waiting and how to make the call, but what if you make the call and you walk off like that? Where, just from anybody, where are you going next?
Okay, so one, let's get to the thing. We don't want to leave, right? I know you said that, but that's the first thing. On a double foul or any foul, on any, even a regular foul, we want to have a foul and we want to stay until we're relieved, especially on a shooting foul or any kind of foul. We're going table side, right? So we want to stay. We want to stay until your partner can come down and say, all right, Michael, go ahead. But if you're saying that you've already gone, that's mistake number one. So we've just got to be better. And this is at all levels. We need to be patient, have our foul, and stay at the spot until everything's clear and you're ready to press on. But if you do move on, then one, an active referee needs to come in. C probably needs to close, especially when we've got two kids on the floor, right? We've got a rebound, two big kids on the floor. Someone needs to close in. So at center, I'd probably close into the paint, just to have an understanding that if something does kick off, I've got to get in there. And then if you see that lead is coming to the table fast at trail, then I need to start moving fast. If I just stay at table side and I'm going to wait for lead to come all the way to me, that's not helping the situation. So if I'm at trail, I need to get in there too. But also we need to have a conversation on this type of play. So we don't want to just leave too early, everybody leave, and then just allow the lead to just be at the table and then reporting that we've got all the confusion. But if you're just saying just a regular, you have a double foul and you go to the table, I'm gonna guess your question is, how are you reporting that to the table? How are you going to report a double foul?
No. I'm asking, like, for a guy that if he's walking off like that, am I walking directly to trail? Like you said, trails come. You said you would come to me, but I'm saying before I get there, because I didn't see the basket go in. So how can am I going to go to the table, count the basket, double foul, like, or am I going to the trail and saying, hey man, did the basket go in? And then when he says it, I take reporting the three, or you know what I mean? Who's reporting the basket? And then I know I got the foul, but just the process.
All right. Yeah. All right. So let's say this. So if you're going to the table with the foul, and now you've done everything you're supposed to do, you've done the communication, you know that the basket was good, then yes, you're going to score the basket, then you're going to report the double foul. So that to answer that question, yeah, we've talked about everything that we've said and everything's communicated and we've got the play right. In a perfect world, you've stayed and then you've gone table side. Yeah, you're correct. You're going to score the basket first, just like you would on the N1. We're going to do it in the order, score the basket. You're going to have your double foul, and then we're going to end up putting the ball in the end line going to White, and obviously you'll be table side. Marshall, go ahead if you want to jump in on it.
Yeah, good evening, guys. To the gentleman's question, order of operation, the first thing like he needed to do was being that the big thing is an unusual play. It's not a play that happens all the time. So like Mark mentioned, going to the basket and things of that nature, he needed to get relieved of duty is what I call it. So, because his duty is those two players that got into the altercation. So as emphatically as he went out, he should have probably called to see, hey, I have a double foul. Watch these two guys. Because that should have been the most important thing in that play is the safety of not wanting that to escalate. Now, if he doesn't, then C needs to come in and say what you got. That right there would, even before the bleep bleep or the whistle, you, as somebody mentioned, either walk in or run in with a trot, what you got. And then that way, because at the end of the play, all three officials, or after the reporting, all three officials should know what happened. And if we didn't, then the crew has failed. Right, wrong, and indifferent. But if there's somebody out there that didn't know what happened on that unusual play, then yes, we failed as a crew. So this is where you over communicate. Somebody mentioned windows and all of that. And I think Frank made the best comment. The windows, I just put in the chat, is unlimited until the ball goes in play, because the most important thing is to get the play right. So they should have came together, and however long it took for them to do it, then fine. But it's real hard, and from a culture perspective, somebody comes out that strong for certain officials to come in and say what you got for various reasons. Oh, he wants to take over the game, or oh, he's got it, or oh, I don't want to include myself. We've got to change that because all three are wrong, not just one. Thank you.
Thanks, Marshall. PJ, go ahead.
Yeah, Mark, I want to see if I could add something different. Sure. Isn't this under correctable errors a classic either erroneously canceling a score or erroneously counting a score under Rule 2-10? Would this be classified as a correctable error, and you would have to have it until the second opportunity until the ball becomes live to actually fix it?
I don't agree. I don't think so.
Okay.
Only because he's waving off something he saw.
Yeah. So this
right. He saw the ball go in the basket. He waved it. It's correctable up until the point that I let him pass me and count the basket. He's saying in his judgment that foul occurred before the ball went in. That's what his motions. That's what his movement, his mechanics told me.
So you're saying, okay, so I get what PJ was going is, and that's when Frank had said not till the ball became live again. Exactly what I didn't want to go off because I wanted to press on, but maybe we don't. So PJ brought it up. He was thinking the same as me. I was thinking like, okay, so like Ron said, let's just say in this situation, the lead referee wipes the basket. All right. But we don't know they wiped the basket. Let's say that, me, Mike Hernandez, and Ron Van Lenhammer in the game. And Ron is at lead. He comes out, and me and Mike believe it's a double foul. We don't believe that he wiped the basket. Boom, double foul. Okay, cool. And then at the table, he says it's no basket. Then we hear, wait, Mike, the coach telling Mike, no, that we got to score that basket. We got to score that basket. Okay. Then we don't come together. Let's just say we don't come together like we should. The ball becomes live, and then I get over there. Mark, we should have scored that basket, boom, boom, boom. And I beep, 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 and then I kill it. Then I come together. We come together and we talk about it. Like, yo, what did you have? Did you wipe that basket, Ron? Ron said, yeah, I wiped it. And then me and Mike say, well, hold on. We believe that, not we believe, we know. We have definite knowledge that ball was out just in the same situation. Can we score that basket based on that it should be, based on rule, Should be a basket, and we found that before second live ball. I think that's what PJ was getting at. PJ, go for it.
Yeah, Mark, that's my point, because you have
I hear
two
that.
outside of, oh, I'm sorry, Kenny.
No, PJ, go ahead. Go ahead.
You have two outside officials just reading their body language and have working with them for years. They know that basket's good. I mean, just watching them, they know the way they froze and looked at their partner. They know that basket's good. So my point is are we erroneously counseling a basket that should have been scored, and that's going to hurt the team later on, in the course of the game?
Yeah.
So okay, but it goes back to our only question is, then how does it go that I don't agree that that's correctable. In the situation, the way you guys explain it, yes, it's correctable, right? But I don't think that's how you can correct, because you would then, if the basket went in, if the person's waving their arms and you don't come in, there's a huge problem.
Right.
But I guess you're right. If you go to him and say, did you know that basket went in? We thought you were waving your arms. If you do it that way, then I say, yes, it's correctable.
Yeah, but I'm saying, I get you. Like, we've talked about everything on here, what we should have done, right? And that should happen every single time. So you rarely, I'd hate to say never, rarely should get to what the situation I gave to. Because if we're getting to the situation I just gave, that's really, really bad communication. And we should never get that far. We should be able to fix that immediately at the spot. Oh, we scoring it, we wiping it, boom. But I'm saying is that doesn't happen. Situation is,
I agree.
You know what I'm saying? I think
Yeah.
that falls under correctable error. I truly do.
It does. If you let it go that far and he says, I did not wipe the basket, then it is correctable.
Okay, all right.
If he tells you I didn't wipe, what are you talking about? I didn't wipe any basket. Then it's
Exactly. If he states that he did not wipe it and you misread my mechanic, then it's correctable. But if he says that, and when I talk the window is, you can go up and give that official additional information. But PJ's right about correctable if there was a misread of his mechanics. But if the guy says no, and nobody come to him with additional information, then I'm with Kenny, you can't correct that. You gotta eat it as bad as it is. But if it was a misread of the mechanics, and no, I wasn't waving it off, but that goes back, like I said, the window. You can give that official information up until the ball goes in, and plus one. That's what I'm getting at, and I think everybody said it. It's the you, whether you're a first year, last year, whatever. It's a crew, and you survive and crash as a crew. So everybody's information is just important as everybody else.
I don't think you can do that. I don't.
Why
I don't
not,
think,
Marshall?
because you can't, because I'm gonna apply a different scenario in my mind. I'm not gonna bring it up, but I don't think you can re-referee or reinterpret somebody's judgment or their mechanics after that play. The only time you can address that judgment or the misreading or misinterpretation of the mechanics is, I think, before that ball is live. I know you can't re-referee the play, okay? Like Kenny was saying, you can't re-referee his judgment, okay, after the ball is put back in play. I don't think there's any case anywhere in the case book where it states a misunderstanding of somebody's mechanic is a correctable error, because that's what you guys are saying.
No, see, I see it as if we tell, if the referee says, oh no, I did wipe it, well, all bets are off. That's their judgment, right?
Right.
But they're saying, oh wait, the ball went in. Like, they have no idea the ball went in. Well, we're not re-refereeing the play because they had no information the ball went in, but the other two referees have definite knowledge the ball went in and the ball was in flight. To me, that's not re-refereeing a play. To me, that's not applying the rule which it falls under. Now, if you catch it five live balls later, it's too late. But it falls under E, is that you're canceling a score by rule, right? And I get what you're saying, Marshall, like totally. If it's a judgment, it should never get this far. But if it does, based on the rule, you can actually, we hope it never gets there.
I don't think you go, the way you go is not the correctable error route, is go the definite knowledge route, because it's definite knowledge that we know the basket counted. because
But there's no rule on definite knowledge is coming in the time.
well, no, I'm talking
That's
about definite
ambiguity.
knowledge. There is no time for definite knowledge. You can always come back and say, hey, I have definite knowledge at the 3:52 mark. That foul was on such and such, not such and such. What I'm saying is that's the only thing you could do on that play as opposed to rereading or reinterpreting his mechanics. Okay, I don't think reinterpreting somebody's mechanics is correctable. And then if basket, and if they missed the basket, right? Like we missed, they didn't score a basket, right? But we know they scored at the 2:52 mark. We can fix that anytime because we fall under definite knowledge. So if you say I have definite knowledge the ball went in and leave all of his mechanic stuff, that wasn't in the play, then you could get away with it. But if his judgment is he waved that basket off, that's his judgment, he waved it off. Then after that ball is live, you can't touch it.
Yeah, no, we're saying, I think we're all saying the same thing, Marshall. If he says, hey, no, I wasn't waving off the basket, that's just how I do my double foul signal, then it's correctable. PJ's right. At that point, it's correct, because what we did was we interpreted his double foul signal as a wipe off. That's correct because a ball scored. So we can score that basket.
What I'm saying, Kenny, the best route, so you don't have to have that window. If I'm in that crew and I say, let's not go correctable error route, let's go, we had definite knowledge the ball went in. Because then you don't got to worry about second live ball and all the rest of that stuff. I agree.
I can live with that.
You see what I'm saying?
That's tough, though.
I'm not even having to deal with that.
So
that's tough. That's tough.
Steve, PJ, what you started?
Well, hold on, Farron, I got you. But that's tough because I look at it like, okay, say that happens in the first half, and then we get in at halftime, and then we have that discussion like, yo, what did you have on that? And they say, oh, I just had a double foul. We're going to come out in the second half and then give that team 3 points. I think that's even harder to sell. If we miss it, and I think it's easy to come out and say, Coach, we talked about it. We couldn't correct it within that time frame. But to add 3 points coming out at halftime, that would be really tough by rule. I don't think we're applying that rule right.
We've done that before. I mean, if somebody's missed a basket, we've done that. But like I said, yeah, I'd hate to even I kind of
get that far, right?
Next play, yeah.
Yeah. I'm with you. All right, we're getting into the end of it where we hope we never get to, right? If we get back to the teaching points, everything we should have done early, we'll never get into this hole that we're in, and then we got to try to dig ourselves out of it. Farron, what you got, man?
I'm a little confused on that the made shot and if so. My question: if the lead official, we have the double foul, the ball is not counted, and we inbound the shot is not counted, and we inbound the ball, he goes to the table, he reports or whatnot, he comes back and we inbound the ball, and the coach, after the ball has been thrown in, the coach that the team that should have been awarded that shot says, hey, we should have that shot should have counted. You're saying that we have passed the limit of correcting that error?
No, not second live ball yet. No, we're still in the time frame to fix it. We're just saying we are
still in the time frame.
Correct.
Yeah, if we went down 2 times with 2 dead balls, then we're done.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Let's move on. I didn't think we'd take an hour on that. Dang it. That's okay though. Good discussion. Let's get into let's get into traveling. Okay. I'm gonna share this. I'm not gonna read it. Don't worry. This is something I'm terrible at. I work every season to get better, especially perimeter travels. But look how long perimeter travels is. So for us that we feel travels are pretty easy, why is there 5 articles on it, right? So traveling's not easy. Traveling is not easy based on if it's off the catch, it's off the dribble, those type things. So I was going to put some plays out. The reason I did it we're going to start that library pretty soon, hopefully before the season starts, where it's going to be a website. Just real quick, I'll dive into it. It'll be a website where we have access. We go in there, you can drop down box, perimeter travels, block charge plays, freedom movement, whatever. You can find it. If you find a clip you like or a clip that you're in, you're able to then put that into a separate list for yourself, all those type things. It's going to be awesome. But I was finding some clips to send over for the website, and I found 4 travels, and I put it on Facebook like, hey, this is what we're going to be using. And then everyone started responding, talking about this, that, this. I said, man, we got travels. Why are we talking about this? And we got a foul and we got this. And I was like, wow, when we're not, even when I was saying they're travels, we're still not seeing the travel, right? And not trying to be negative about it. I'm terrible at travels. So I was like, you know what? Why don't we get into travels and why we're missing them? So here we're not going to have a discussion based on are they travels or not. They're travels. All these next clips are travels. What I want to talk about is why are we missing them? Obviously, we're going to talk about positioning and movement, but some of these, it's neither one of those. We're in good position. Our movement's fine. We have open looks. Why are we missing? I know it's hard to dive into somebody's mind, but we've got to come up with some kind of sequence on these travels. Are we looking too much at defense? Are we not picking up the pivot foot? Where are our eyes going? Are we going to the feet first? Are we going to the basketball first? Are we going to the defense? Whatever it is, right? We've got to get better at getting these travels right. And then we've got to be highly consistent. What I learned a lot from Mac, talk about him every Zoom meeting. I'm going to continue to do it because he always pops into my mind. He talked about all the time about travel plays resulting in scoring plays, or possibly, you know, a run over, we got a foul. For instance, we have a travel play on the perimeter, we miss it, kid goes in, wham, we got a block charge play, we have an offensive foul. Okay, we had a travel, we'd be good. We press on, that kid don't pick up the foul. If we have a block, that kid doesn't pick up the foul. Another one, we miss one in the perimeter, they turn, they get a basket. We miss it, it's a scoring play. So I don't think we always look at travels like that. Well, man, I missed a travel. What are the consequences of that travel? Most of the time we miss travels is going to benefit typically the offense because they're going to score out of it. Sometimes they'll get a run over and they get an offensive foul, but especially in the post and the perimeter when they're going by their defenders, they can get into pull-ups and get into the paint. We're missing them, and it's really hurting the defense, especially when a lot of kids now shoot threes and the defense are doing a really good job of closing out and getting them to run them off the three-point line. That's what they're teaching, and then we're missing the travels. So I'll open it up. You can put it in there, whatever it is that you need to do. And then just put yourself in the referee's shoe. Now, you know that travels, but I'm telling you, we miss these all the time. I mean, every time I'm looking at film, we're missing a handful, if not more, travels every single ball game. All right, so let's dive into this. Again, any questions or anything, feel free to let me know what you got. All right. Okay. That's my cute little slide. Let me move this. So anybody can take this one, okay? So we have, I'll go through it slow because I know it's going to lag. We have a shot fake, okay? Shot fake. Got to try to pick up that pivot foot. Boom. Scoring play, 2 points. And of course, we have a very upset coach over here. Yeah, I'll roll it back in. Anybody want to take it? This one may be a little more in position. Some of them are not. All right. Anybody want to discuss this? And I'll start kind of back when the ball gets high up here. Anybody want to take it? We can talk about whose play it is. Don't want to get into it. It's a travel. They're all travels, okay? But some of us may not touch this play. Maybe think it's not big enough to go get. But somebody knew. Someone take it. Tell me what you're seeing on this. Don't jump out at once.
All right, Mark, since nobody's talking, I guess I'll talk.
Thanks, Mike.
I talked about it. I think when you had it on Facebook, I put a comment where I felt that Trell needed to come in a little bit more to see. He had a nice view, but I think if he would have moved in a little bit closer, would have had the perfect view. C, I think it is on his side, and he's got a view, but then their bodies are coming in and out. So I don't know that C could have maybe moved around a little bit more to see that. But from where it's at, I would say that's probably should have came from C. It's kind of long to reach from the trail, but I mean, if you're definitely know that you're going to come, I would think that it would be okay. come get it. And I mean, you're still going to have a coach on the other side saying, telling you something because you came from way on the other side, but you obviously got the other coach screaming in the C's ear. So, I mean, that's the way I would adjudicate that.
So I got a question, Mike. So would you agree with me that the trail's view is the same as the camera's view?
Yes.
Okay, can I see if he's not fumbling that ball from the trail position?
No.
So again, status of ball. We got to know the status of the ball. So who's got the best position to make that play?
Okay, I see your point there. That would be the C then.
Okay.
Anyone else want to add to it?
Mark, are we
Yes.
saying that he does not have a right to move either of his feet because it was a jump stop, or are we saying his right foot was his pivot foot on this? Because I'm on an iPad and I really can't tell.
Sure.
And it looks like his left foot was his pivot foot to me, but like I said, I can't tell.
Yeah, so this is, because I've been able to slow it down and pick it up. This is a kind of a jump stop, so picks it up. It's hard because you don't see the ball, but he jumps off his left and lands on 2. So
okay.
I remember when I first started playing, I remember having this conversation at St. George Maronite with Mac and Reggie and Rufus and everyone. And I didn't understand it. I didn't understand how you can, if I jump off a foot and I land on 2 feet, okay, it's a pro hop or a jump stop. I would imagine that either one is my pivot foot, right? But I've established a pivot foot when I've taken off 1, that's my first step, and now I've landed on 2. There's my 2 steps. I'm not able to pivot off either foot. I need to jump to either off both feet or I could jump off both feet, but I need to pass or shoot prior to either foot coming down, and that's what happens on this one. Somewhat goes tap tap as well, but yeah, it's a good question. So it's one of those where he jumps off 1 and then lands on 2, and that's in one of the articles. I'm not going to go get into. You got to get into that, but you got to understand that. But I agree, it's C's play because it's hard for Trell to see. I remember this. I'm at Trell. I remember the feet. I was like, oof, right? But I didn't know where the ball was at. I didn't know if he lost the ball, whatever. Me and Rufus talked about same thing. Rufus like, I saw his feet kind of shuffle, but I can't see the ball on the other side. So center has to get these plays, right? It's not a huge travel, but center is right there, the closest to it, right in front of the coach. We're starting the second quarter. We got to get these because it ends up doing what? Ends up being a scoring play, 2 points. I think this was a 1-possession game coming down the end of the game. So anybody want to add to it? Cleo, you got anything?
It should have been a C play, but you got the lead there as well. It seems like to me, if the lead's in a good position to see from the floor up, you might have caught that and made that call.
Yeah, I agree. And like I said, Rufus said he couldn't find it. We talked about it. He couldn't find the status of the ball. It's hard to see through 13's back. I get it. Yeah. But we definitely have to referee from the feet up, Cleo. You're right. Have to. Yeah. Anybody else want to add to it? All right. Let's get in the next one. So there's one type travel. There's a lot of different travels that we have. Okay. Everybody sees this one, right? Happens a lot. Catch the ball, 2 feet. This usually happens more in the post when they catch it, either with their back to the basket or they're faced up. Land on 2, and then that little hop, right? So I know it's a travel, but why are we missing these travels? What do we think? Do we like C's positioning? Could it be a little different to help? What do y'all have? And as you see, we have a foul. So she ends up shooting 2 free throws as well out of this. Anybody?
C can come on the floor a little bit more
Okay.
and get a better angle. I don't know if they're straight line, but if they kind of look like they're planted on the side of the floor and not working for any kind of angle, just kind of sitting there. So
I think if they're more engaged in the play, they might be a little bit further onto the court, and that might engage their mind to be watching for that little pop there.
Okay, thanks, Ron. Anyone else?
Hey, Mark.
Go ahead.
I think one tip that John Franklin gave us was, just want to pass it on, is upon the catch, pick up pivot foot. Just say to yourself, left or right. Here you got neither, because she lands on both feet. So either foot could be pivot foot, depends on what she moves next. But after you say that to yourself, left or right, normally is one or the other. Then we want to referee 70% of the offense and then 30% of the defense until the defense gets within arm reach. Then we switch it, and we're going to referee 70% of the defense and then 30% of the offense, if that makes sense. But it's really helped me a lot on the catch of the ball, and also when the defense is not in a competitive matchup and they're far away, I pick up 70% of the offensive player, because they may double, just like the clip I sent you this morning, where we had a double dribble today on TV. I mean, a clear double dribble. It's because the officials were looking ahead, picking up only the defensive player, and the defensive player was 20 feet away. So if you look on the catch, officiate the offense 70%, officiate the defense 30%. When they get a competitive matchup, get within arm reach where they can foul them, switch it, officiate 70% of the defense, 30% of the offense, and you'll pick up your travels.
Thanks, PJ. Thanks for sharing. Anyone add to it? Okay, we understand. We get that travel. We don't have that, right? Especially as late in the game. This could be a big play where the girls shooting free throws when we should have had a travel. Okay. These are the ones we miss a lot, okay? Is when it's the kickouts or the round the perimeter. I'm terrible at these, terrible. So this is definitely when this ball is kicked out, we have to understand, right? It's closeouts, we have to understand that, but got to go to the feet first, right? So here we have to go, as you can see, the trail referee is not going to the feet. So never, if you don't go to the feet, you're never going to pick up, because it's quick. It's a quick kick out. So we know when they catch the ball, right? You'll see it on the catch. So I want to do this just for exercise purposes. What foot? Just put R or L. I'll do it again slow. So you got slow-mo, you get an opportunity, because they'll probably lag. I should have said this earlier. Right or left is the pivot foot. What do you have? I'll do it one more time. Just put R or L. There you go. Everybody's got right. I want to do it fast one time so we can see it. And they happen quick, right? So they're hard to get. There it comes. Anybody got left? Everyone's got right. Okay, Mingo's got left. All right. But everyone's got right. Okay. Let's go through it. Tough, huh? Boom. Do they have control? Are they touching it? Because if you deem they have control, right, left. Either way, they're going to travel either way, right? So here they've gone pop, pop, travel. And even if you have a left foot as their pivot foot, they put the left foot is released before the ball has hit the floor. So either way, we have a travel. Here's what we need to be careful about doing when I run it, okay? So we obviously didn't pick up the pivot foot. We picked it up late. Easily can happen because we're worrying about this pass out. We could have a crash right here. So we want to stay with the passer, right? Could be a foul here. But as soon as this pass is cleared and we know we're good, we've got to immediately get our eyes down to that pivot foot. Picks it up late, so we miss it. Don't want to guess on travels, absolutely. Coach is pissed, but we do this. We've got to be careful by telling them what? That's telling the coach that you have all the information, that you know which one was their pivot foot and it was not a travel. Then coach goes, looks at it on film and finds out that you're totally wrong, okay? So again, we're telling the coach that we got it. Well, look what they get out of it. They end up getting a 3-point out of it. Okay. I would, my opinion, and anyone I can add to this, if we're not 100% sure, I'm not giving any signal. Next time I come down, I'm probably telling coach, didn't get a good look at the pivot foot. I'm not going to be telling the coach that I got it right based on this. I don't have 100%. Possibly may tell them that, hey, coach, I may have missed that one. I'll look better next time for the pivot foot or whatever it is that you want to say. Okay. Anybody want to add to this?
Can you rewind it, Mark, to the beginning,
Sure.
right when they catch the ball?
Oh boy, my bad. Man. Let me know, PJ, when you want it.
Freeze. Right here is a perfect opportunity for the trail official to pick up 70% of the offense and catch that pivot foot because there is no defender close by. You see how you can use that technique? The lead has the action on the screen and stuff that's going on in there. He's looking directly at it. He's got his primary coverage area covered. He's solid. But the ball handler, the offensive player on that catch, there's no defense going on. All he can do is double dribble, travel, something else like that. And we missed that. And that's why coach went crazy on that.
Yep. Another thing I want to add, I just saw this now, is like when we start doing this, we actually end up stop refereeing. You can see the trail referee stops refereeing and we actually have a crash. We have no information on that. Got to just things that we need to be careful. We've all done it. Okay. I've done it before. I know a lot of referees on it. I'm not making saying about the referee. We've done it before. We want to do that to let them know that we're good on this. But film don't lie, right? Okay, next one. Same game. So here, let's do it again. RL. You know what? I'm going to show it game time one time. Sorry if it lags on you. You're going to have to go 50-50 guess. Okay, so the ball gets kicked out in the rebound, similar place. Okay, here we go. What we got on this? All right, let's jump into the next one. I'll pause it. Here, pop, pop. What's his pivot foot? Sorry, it's game speed. It's hard. If it lagged, I apologize. Maybe I'll be nice. I'm in a good mood today. I'll give it to you. Okay, there it is right there. Okay, here you go. Why not? What's a pivot? Right here. Ooh, a little 50-50 on this one. Okay, let's look at it. Okay. Again, this is why we talk about travels all the time. We got to find it here. What is the first foot that hits? Right foot. So right foot hits first. That's going to be the pivot foot. So it's right, left, and look what they do with the right foot. Pick it up, put it back down. There's a travel right there. Right, left, boom. Travel. A good, and this is in the same game. Sorry, I keep doing that. It's in the same game, in the same place. It's right in front of the coach. This was at the 2-minute mark in the first quarter. Early in the game, we got to be real good on our travels, our legal screens, everything. Early in the game, right in front of that coach. And then this one happens. I'm not sure when this one happened. Let's see. Happens not very, it's in the first quarter as well. These are two plays that we got to get. I truly believe we got to pregame travels. I don't think many of us do, but it's something that we really need to get better at. And this will be a trend that we'll see this year, and I'll put a lot of videos out like this, so we'll be able to get in really consistent. That's why I think this library is going to help us a lot, get really consistent on picking up pivot foots, understanding what are travels, what are not travels. I don't know who spoke, but go for it if you want to add something.
Yeah, hey, Mark, I think you hit a great point being early in the game and stuff we pregame. This is the crew chief, whatever Zoom thing. Those 3 plays are going to cause us to fight for credibility the rest of the game with a coach that we know has some personality. And then we have the 2 travels missed and possibly a player control. So the rest of the game, that crew is probably, I don't know what happened in the game, but I can believe that they had to fight the rest of the game to get credibility back if they ever got credibility back because of what happened in that first 4 minutes of the game. Because we went 0 for 3 in the first 4 minutes, or whatever we got right, we got 3 wrong, possibly 2 to 3 wrong in the first 4 minutes. It's really hard to recover from that throughout the rest of the game. Thanks.
Also, Mark, to piggyback off of Marshall, this is going to sound weird because you guys know I'm not a coach pleaser, but sometimes if you listen to what the coach is saying, it can be a roadmap to what the crew is missing. So sometimes what they're saying is not always just gamesmanship and trying to get one up on the other team. If you really listen to what their gripes are, every now and then it could be something that the crew is missing and you can catch.
Hey, one other thing, and I kind of talked to Kenny individually on this, but that pointing is not going to help at that point, because whatever we say at that point that's not in agreement with him is not going to help the situation, because the same look, I'm not talking about this play, the previous play, he's got the same look that Trell has. So he's looking at the play the same way. So I would say to individuals that don't have as much experience, or anybody, don't point, don't do any of that unless you got 120% know you're right. And you could be right, and he's still or she's still not going to agree with what you're saying, especially at that point in time. He's not going to stop and say, oh, okay, you're right. Because he's already made his decision that it's a travel, coach. So you go and know it's not a travel and pointing and exposing him, then that's not going to help us as far as managing the game.
Yep, totally agreed. Thanks. To piggyback a little bit, I think we could be better at talking about perimeter travels, post travels that we feel we may have missed if you're a co-official. Or if you've missed one, you feel you've missed one, to bring that up. Because what we can't do is continue to keep missing them, right? Especially if we've missed, like Marshall's point, we missed 3 plays in the first few minutes. I don't know any referees on here that do that. Like if you possibly see possible missed travel, or you see a reaction from a coach, are we having those conversations possibly next dead ball during a timeout? We need to start having those discussions. I think we're probably one of the biggest things we're most inconsistent as a chapter, and this is all across, don't just think San Antonio, is travels. And I'm lucky enough that I get to watch a lot of games. And like I said, if I did a stat on it, it's more than 5. It's more than 5 travels per game, sometimes more. Talking more on an average, though, around 5 that we miss. That's a lot in the game. That's more than 1 a quarter. That can turn into a lot of points or possession consequences, or whatever you want to call it, fouls and all that type of stuff that can happen scoring plays. So it's something that we definitely need to work at. All right, so that's why I wanted to talk about it today. One more. This is a perimeter about post travel. I'll show it one time. All I want to know is who's primary, who should this whistle come from? Lead or trail? I believe that's correct. Let me see. Okay. All right. I'm gonna change the scenario a little bit. Let's say lead's on this side of the floor. All right. Let's just say this is strong side. Lead is already here. They haven't rotated. They've always been here. So lead is here and trail is here, and we have the travel here. Just put in the chat. So strong side, post, who should have a travel on this play? So just imagine lead is right here. Okay, lead is here, can see through this good position, and trail is here. Just put lead or a T. I only got one answer right now. T, there we go. Okay, T, T, L, okay. More T than lead. There's some leads, some T's, okay. Don't wait a few more. We don't have enough answers. Yeah, lead is in position. So it's lead, it's strong side, right? We need to pregame this. We need to pregame post perimeter travels, strong side. Or even weak side, whatever. But weak side would obviously be center. But here we go. All right. I know we're going to have some disagreement on this, okay? Because a lot of people will want to go what's based on primary coverage and what's based in the manual, okay? I'm going to let both sides argue, and I'll give you what is the right answer based on just on all the mentals that I have, okay? So we're like 50-50. So I'm going to go here. I'm going to pick someone on T, okay? So Farron, you're going to take why you believe T is primary on the travel, and then Tony Schaefer, you will take lead, okay? Farron, you go at it, and then we'll see if you can persuade anybody to join your side, and we'll see where we're at.
I'm saying T, just based on the positioning and the depth that I would have looking from the floor up versus the lead being a little bit closer and on top of the play, trying to officiate from the floor up on top of it, especially when it's the ball. So their initial look is probably going to be trying to referee the defense versus refereeing from the floor up, where the trail has that wider open look. They're actually able to see the feet. They're more concerned on watching floor up versus watching the defensive competitive matchup between the offense and the defense.
Okay, thanks, Farron. Tony, plead your case.
Now, you did say we're assuming that lead was already over there and in position.
Correct. Correct.
Okay, then to me, it's lead's play because that's his competitive matchup. That's what he's over there to referee. And I think he needs to be paying attention. If he was there when the ball came in, he should have knowledge of what foot was the pivot foot, what foot came down, and he should be able to referee that play easier, I think. And I don't want to question Farron about having a wider angle, but he will be and would be closer to the play, but still have a wide angle if he was in proper position at lead.
Okay, I'm gonna add one thing and then some others can jump on. Does it matter which way, say it was a spin move or they go right or left, would that determine any difference based on T or lead? If they spin towards the center or they spin back towards the baseline, would that change any look or any difference on picking up a pivot foot? Anybody want to touch on that?
Not for me, Mark. No, it wouldn't matter whether he spin baseline or whether he spin to the middle of the court.
Okay.
I'm still thinking the trail has the best look from his feet up versus the ball getting dumped into the post and the lead. For me, the lead's initial reaction, especially being if he's in like a closed down, if we're saying he's closed down already in that position, he would probably have to put his move his neck down to actually catch his feet versus his eyes already being in a position to where has an open look, able to officiate the competitive matchup on the ball.
Okay, good stuff. Thank you. Anyone else? All right, so kind of a trick question. Both really good answers. Okay, we get into primary coverage. We know it's leads, right? So we have to respect that. We have to respect that it's leads. We have to work wider and deeper to get these. All right. So primary coverage, it's lead. However, we have to pregame this is trail, sometimes center as well, especially if a trail gets stacked or gets a bad look and it spins into the middle, that C can assist. Outside referees need to assist on post travels. That's kind of the verbiage that we use. We're not going to say it's not leads, it's trails. Okay. It's clearly leads because we're going by primary coverage area and we have to respect that. But to Farron's point, I agree. We're typically on top of that play. It's close to us. Maybe we're looking for hooks and holds and elbows and knees in the back that we may not pick up the pivot foot. Based on what PJ said, I agree. If we can try to get that pivot foot 70-30 and then flip it 70-30, I think that's pretty cool. I'm going to start using that, see if it helps me. So it's kind of both. But I remember when I first got in, whenever it was, we never talked about outside referees assisting on those plays, but they do. They have a better look. They have a wider look. They can pick up that pivot foot. Again, leads may be looking for something else, and they're on top of it, and that's why we need to work wider and deeper. But do not be afraid an outside referee to come get a a post travel if you have all the information on here. We miss it. I mean, we clearly miss this. This is center's play because it's on center side of the floor. Some people believe that it wasn't a travel. So I do want to get into this, right? So we call it a little Sigma move. So we've got to pick that up. Once that pass goes, right, not competitive, we got to get into this. Right, left, right? We see that. Little Sigma move opens up, right, left, and then right foot comes back down. They end up getting an and one out of this. Boom. And one. I don't want to get in a judgment. It's a foul. Sorry, thinking of judgment. It's and one, whatever. Okay, but we got to be really good on our travels. As you can see, most of the plays I put out there have turned into what? It's been a consequence for the other team for the most part. This is a travel we missed. This is a and one. He gets a free throw, and it sends this kid to the bench. He picked up his first foul. No, it's fourth foul. I'm sorry. This is in the second half. Picked up his third. I know he came out of the game. I know that. And that was the only big kid they had. For us that know Marshall, they ain't got no big kids this year. Or this year, a couple years ago, whenever it was. This hurt this kid. All right. So not sure if that answers kind of a trick question, but yeah, it's Lee's primary coverage area, and we have to assist on outside, and typically outside referees have the best look. So I agree with both. So Tony and Farron, you both plead your cases. I'm with both. Anybody want to add to it? Disagree, agree, want to add anything that I may have missed? Go at it. We got 2 minutes.
Yeah, be careful. If that's Trail's secondary area, and if Trail this focuses that much on the secondary area, then you may be missing stuff that's happening in your primary. So please don't focus on that matchup if you got stuff happening up in that elbow area where C is, but it's going to be T, because we don't want those 2 eyes on that one play, or 4 eyes on that one play, leaving one set of eyes for the rest of the 8 players. So the key is Trail assists on post travel, right? Assists, not that it's your primary. Please don't treat it as your primary, because that'll break the whole system.
Anyone else?
Mark, I think the one thing that we got to be careful of is paying attention to the pivot feet when we get that 70-30 look, because a lot of times, I know that I'm guilty of this, just because something looks funny doesn't mean it's a travel. And that's kind of been my mantra and my excuse. Really, it's an excuse because you didn't see the play. You didn't pick up the pivot foot. It looked funny, but I didn't pick up the pivot foot because it looked funny. I'm not going to call it travel. So I think we can get in trouble that way. I think we all really need to concentrate on paying attention to the pivot foot and everything else when we get out there.
That gentleman that brought up that 70-30, I want to say he said that was based off if the offensive player catches the ball with no defensive pressure, right? Like when he initially gets the ball and you don't have to actually officiate any defense because he just has the ball by himself. So in that same situation, if he catches the ball and the defense is already there, I think that would be, I guess, a little bit more of an opportunity for Trail to assist, as you said, because the lead official is going straight to the actual competitive matchup versus the offensive player just catching the ball and he being out there on an island by himself with no defensive pressure.
Agreed, but I'll let PJ add to that, make sure that you're right. But I think you're 100% right. PJ, yes, Farron got that right, what you were saying?
Yes, Farron got that right. And then Mark, just to piggyback off of Tony, man, he's so right. And I just did that last weekend. It was calling travels that really wasn't there just because it looked funny. And they kind of encourage us to just not be so nitpicky and be so pure to what we're calling, I guess you could say, baby travels and kind of messing up the flow of the game. Because if you go out there and call every itty bitty, pinky toe, like Malcolm used to say, man, he just moved his pinky toe or whatever, you're just going to screw up the whole game because everybody does that. So just kind of got to pick and choose You know, like you said, the obvious ones versus the one where you got to look at film and replay it 3 or 4 times. Those are the ones you want to say, man, you know what, if I got to go look at film and I got to replay it 3, 4, 5 times, I could have let that go.
Yep, absolutely agree. Yeah, we definitely don't want you leaving here like, okay, my next ball game, I'm going to go get me 20 travels in a game. You don't want to go looking for them, but if we are really disciplined and picking up the pivot foot, then we should be able to do it. Again, to your point, Tony, I agree. If it looks funny and you don't have the information, then we're not going to get it. But you got to be 100% on your pivot foot and your travels and getting all that right. I would recommend getting into the definitions, because I'm sure if I asked anybody, tell me the 5 articles on it, y'all are going to be like, huh, without your book. But traveling's tough. It just is tough at all levels. All the games we watch, NBA is different because they got 0 steps and all that craziness. But it's tough, and we're not consistent at it. I don't think anybody is, but I want us to, as a chapter, become more consistent. So coaches don't get so upset all the time when we're not consistent on both ends or from game to game. You know, one crew's calling a bunch of travels, the next game they're not calling any. It's hard for kids to get flow, especially when they get in a district. They just want to play. But if their footwork is bad, definitely need to, if it's illegal and they're getting to the baskets and scoring plays, we got to get it. We've said this a lot on Zoom meetings. A lot of referees have said this. When you get out there, stop chopping it up with your crew at half court. Go watch your teams. Get over there, watch them warm up. Look at their footwork. Look at the way they shoot. If they're catching it, if they're catching a little 1-2 and a hop, no, that's a travel. Watch how they shoot off the bounce and all that. All these kids are doing shooting drills and warming up. That gives you a good idea of gives you. I'm not saying go out there be predetermined, but it just gets your mind thinking a little bit. Okay, and then we got to get into that. So I think traveling is going to be a really good subject for us. It's going to be a lot of film on that website, so stay tuned. If you do have any questions on the website, just hit me up and I'll let you know more about it. I'm hoping it will go live before the season. That's all I got for you. But yeah, go ahead, Mark.
Hey, Mark. Yeah. Two things. I'm gonna make a comment and then I'm gonna ask you to give the cliche to give balance to what PJ was saying as far as you don't want to be calling too many travels. One play you need to look at as far as travels is the kick out up and under, or I'm gonna say not to drive to the basket, but dribble, takes 2 or 3 steps along the foul line and passes the ball out. They're taking the 2 or 3 steps in a play when it's not a pending drive. So if, for example, you got this picture here where White has the ball, not the young man on the post, but say this kid at the elbow. He starts to make a move to the basket, but actually goes parallel with the free throw line, takes 2 steps and passes out. Is that a travel? And I think we need to, I know a lot of folks are passing on that travel call. It's 2 steps for a layup, not 2 steps for a pass. And then the last thing I wanted to say was, can you give that cliche to give balance as far as traveling and missing travels? Or I think I put it in the chat already, but
let me see.
To not becoming a travel official, because like you said, the possession consequence.
Mm-hmm. Sorry, my wife came in, Marshall.
All right. Well, the cliche is, I'd rather miss a travel than call a travel that's not there because of the possession consequence. And that'll give balance to this whole discussion.
Say it again.
I'd rather miss a travel than call a travel that's not there. That's not a travel because of the consequence.
Gotcha,
That's
yeah.
been told to for years. So that gives balance to, hey, let's call it travels, but let's not be overly detailed to the point that we're actually calling travels that aren't there and causing teams to lose the ball.
Yeah, I got you. Okay. Any other comments before we close it out? All right, it's recorded, all that stuff. I'll throw it up on our channel tomorrow for you. There's a few new referees on it I haven't seen before. Anything that's confusing to you, have any questions, just hit me offline. You can text me or email me and I'll kind of let you know. Send it to your YouTube channel. We got over 100. We've been doing these all the time. So appreciate you guys hopping on. I was going to say this will be our last Sunday meeting because we take over training for the chapter. So we're going to use Sundays for what we usually do. So I apologize, but we're going to use that for our new beginners and our third through 5th year, like we usually do at the factory. But obviously we don't have the factory. We're not going to be doing it in person. So we're going to be using our Sundays for training for the chapter. But I'll maybe try to do something on Tuesdays, whatever. If you guys still want to continue doing, reach out to me and we'll try to come up with something during the week that we can probably do. So Stay safe, everybody. What was it I heard over the summer? I want to say it again. It's I can't remember it now. Stay positive, test negative. There you go. So that's what it is. All right. Stay positive, test negative. And we'll see you guys soon. All right. Take care.
Thanks,
Bye.
Mark.
All right.
Thanks.
Y'all be safe.
Good job.
Bye-bye.